Chinese cyber warfare, espionage, malign influence is an existential threat to America.
Wake up, Adam.
It is an existential threat, Senator, and also
Wakey,
I have not seen it yet,
wakey.
but from what I've heard about former FBI Director Wray's comments on 60 Minutes regarding China, sleeper cells within our own country, infiltrating our water systems, our natural gas lines, telecommunications.
There's the sleeper cell. Wakey, wakey, oh Adam. Wakey, wakey. So we got to talk about Pam Bondi, all right? And Adam Schiff, because she absolutely owned this guy. But there is one cause to pause for me. And I'm going to explain that later on in the video. But before we get into that, let's get into Adam Schiff versus Pam Bondi. And him absolutely getting embarrassed. Or, better yet, him embarrassing himself. Let's dive in.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, as you know, the Supreme Court in Trump versus United States held the president has absolute immunity to commit crimes in certain core areas of the president's responsibility. One of those core areas is the Justice Department. So in a breathtakingly dangerous and irresponsible decision, Justice Roberts and the majority held the president could commit crimes using the Department of Justice and be immune from prosecution. Justice Sotomayor correctly said this new immunity lies about like a loaded weapon. So the fear and the concern we have is that the incoming president will use that loaded weapon, that immunity, to commit crimes through the Department of Justice. And for that reason, it is all the more important that we have an attorney general who has the independence, the strength, the intestinal fortitude to say no to the president when it is necessary. So my first set of questions has to do whether you have the independence to say no when you must say no. And you can say this is hypothetical, but it is not hypothetical. So let me start with one very specific non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case. And sitting here
today,
Senator, 72% of Americans
I only have
have
7
lost
minutes.
faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question.
Brought to me.
You're not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging
I'm sitting
law
here as a
enforcement
nominee.
sensitive information. So just tell us,
Are you
aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news is
Are you aware of
horrible.
a?
Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not looked
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question. Let me ask you a different.
You know, I have to say this because I love the way she answers these questions because it's the same thing that Democrats do. When Democrats are getting questioned, they do the same exact thing where they don't really answer the question. They dance around, and I feel like she's answering it. She just isn't giving the answer that he wants or he likes. He's asking for a yes or a no, and she's not giving it to him. But I love the fact that she's kind of giving that back to the Democrats and giving them a little taste of their own medicine. Because when Republicans start questioning Democrats, they dance, they shuck and jive, they do all this stuff, beat completely around the bush, and never give a firm yes or a firm no. It's a bunch of hoopla, yada, 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 and rambling on to just waste the person's time. So shout out to Pam Bondi for giving them the same crap that they give us. I love that. Love that.
Simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that
No,
question.
it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one
Based
has
on what
asked
you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a
The
hypothetical.
president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called-
also
the
worried about
president-
Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know what
called
we
for
should
this-
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
The
please
crime rate
answer
in
my
California
questions.
right now
You
is
are
through
aware,
the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your robberies
Ms.
are
Bondi,
87%
my
higher
question-
than the national
my question
average.
is this.
That's what I
My
want to
question is
focus
this.
on,
Exposed.
Senator.
Do you have the
If I'm
power to say
confirmed as
no to the
Attorney
president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Wait for it.
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I
No,
won't
I'm just
do it.
asking you a simple
I
question.
won't play
If you can
politics
speak truth
with any
to
ongoing
power. So
investigation,
let me ask you another.
like you did
let me-
leaking your
let me ask
colleague
you-
Devin Nunes's
if-
memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election? Yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question. If you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election? Yes or no? Was there
I
or
can
was there
tell
not?
you what I saw when I went
That's
as an
not my,
advocate
that's
to
not
the
my
campaign.
question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that.
So basically, this guy is asking the question. She starts answering the question. She just doesn't answer it the exact way that he wants. She starts actually talking about something that he's like, oh crap, oh shit. She can't say that because this is going to make me look silly. Like, listen, you're not answering my question. Actually, she was. She addressed the question. She just didn't address it the way that he wanted to. And it's absolutely hilarious that he's not allowing her to finish any type of statement ever. Ever.
Even easy truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case.
so you
Let me
look at-
finish. On a case-by-case
Okay,
basis.
okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that.
It's funny that he asked that, but did he talk about that when the illegals were beating police officers in New York and they let them out? Let them right back out, and they were flipping off the camera as they were walking out of jail because it was an absolute joke. Beating up cops, and New York just lets them out. The New York Democrats just let them right back out of jail. Was Adam Schiff angry about that? Was he questioning Democrats about that? Kind of interesting. Double standard, but carry on.
So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President? I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
And
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as
do?
well
Will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review
investigation.
hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am
Of course
asked
you
to
won't.
look
So
at.
will you advise the
Nick,
president?
can I
will
answer
you-
the question?
Well, my question
I would
is-
have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review
Listen, I'm
hundreds
not
of
going to
cases on the first day?
mislead this body nor you
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me answer
You were
another question.
censured by
It will
Congress, Senator, for
it will
comments just like this that are so reckless.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the
Do
department.
you see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee?
You mean the same way that Liz Cheney and the crew got rid of the evidence, alleged evidence that they had? I like to say an eye for an eye personally, but carry on.
We will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation. Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened now? I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe you're asking such a question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
I loved how she kept throwing the jabs at him. Just kept throwing the jabs at him, exposing him. Like, why are we talking about this? Why aren't we talking about your crime-ridden state? Why are you worried about this? Why are you worried about it because Liz Cheney and the crew destroyed the evidence against the alleged evidence against Trump? Oh man, absolutely loved that exchange. Absolutely loved it. But there is one thing that gives me a little cause to pause when it comes to Miss Pam Bondi, and it's one of them is this. Check out this clip.
I've known Pam Bondi because I ran against her. I was running for Attorney General in 2010. Yeah. I didn't even get through the primary. She reached across party lines to hire me as a Democrat. She got a lot of grief for it. So my experience with her is I do believe that if she is asked to do something knowingly illegal, she will say no. I do believe she's tethered to the law.
And then she'll get fired.
Very possibly. But she's no Matt Gaetz. She's not going to go in there to burn the house down. She is tethered to the law. She believes in the rule of law.
She said Kash Patel doesn't have an enemies list. That doesn't even strike anyone as credible. He published it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right. Well, she said there will not be an enemies list within the Department of Justice. And look, I'm not a Pollyanna. She's going to do things I disagree with. Sure. She's going to, I think, investigate the investigators. But do I believe she'll walk out Anthony Fauci, Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney in handcuffs because they're political enemies? No way. I think she will push back against Trump if he tells her to do something illegal, and she will follow the evidence and the law. I think Pam Bondi is the best as we Democrats could ask for in this situation.
That right there. I think Pam Bondi is the best that we Democrats could ask for in this situation. That statement right there concerns me a bit. It greatly concerns me that a Democrat is openly on national television saying, hey, this is the best thing that we could ask for as a Democrat. I don't know. That gives me a cause to pause when Democrats are like, this person's fine. Then I start questioning things a bit. Then I start, I don't know if I like this person. Because obviously when someone is true, like Trump, Democrats will go after them to no end. I think that's one of the reasons why they went after Trump so hard. Because they know that Trump opposes them. So when you have a Democrat saying that kind of stuff about Pam Bondi, I don't know. Even Senator Dick Durbin. Check out Democrat Senator Dick Durbin. Check out what he had to say about Pam.
You had asked about the independence of Pam Bondi. When you met with her, did she alleviate any of your concerns about that?
She said that she would make decisions based on the law and Constitution, but it's still a nagging question. She has the legal credentials to be Attorney General, in my mind. 10 years as Attorney General in Florida as an example. Some of her decisions will raise questions at the hearing. But the bigger question is she prepared to risk her job as Attorney General to say no to Donald Trump? Two of his attorneys general who said no were fired on the spot. I mean, it's pretty obvious he exalts loyalty and she has to tell us that she's going to hold the law and the Constitution above the president.
Is there anything that would compel you to support her confirmation?
Well, I'm not coming in here with prejudice against her in any respect, but I do think that's a legitimate question based on what happened in Donald Trump's first term.
Are you concerned about her record as Donald Trump's personal attorney, her comments with the 2020 election?
Some of the things she said might have been said in the heat of a campaign moment. If that's the case, let's clarify it today.
But did she, when you met with her and you asked her, how did she respond when you asked her?
Well, she gave an answer, but not what I was looking for. So we'll find out if she does it a little better today. Okay? Thank you.
I don't know. Like, that wasn't like a major endorsement to Pam Bondi, but it wasn't like what I expect to hear from Democrats regarding one of Trump's nominees. I don't know. Y'all let me know if y'all feel the same way. I don't know. Like, I will not be surprised if it turns out that Pam Bondi isn't who we think she is. I will not be shocked when, 6 months from now, we're like, oh crap, this lady has to go. Absolutely has to be out of there. And there's a reason why, because look, check it out. So when Matt Gaetz was supposed to actually be in her position, it was like all hell was gonna break loose. Democrats were like in a complete frenzy. But now that Pam Bondi replaced them, now you got Democrats on national television saying, this is actually like the best option, for us Democrats. I actually worked with her and she's fine. And I don't know. That just don't sit right with me, because I'm used to Democrats being Democrats and creating a bunch of hoopla, becoming actors and dramatizing everything when it comes to Trump's nominees and who Trump is picking and the people by Trump, next to Trump, around Trump. It's they dramatize everything. Oh, this person is terrible. This person is terrible. That person is worse than them. Blah blah. And now all of a sudden you don't do that with Pam Bondi? Nah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about Pam Bondi though. I'm giving it a cause to pause, man. But y'all let me know how y'all feeling. I loved her answers against Adam Schiff, and maybe she's just playing along the same way that Democrats do. Because mind you, Democrats had to go through this same confirmation process too, and they gave a bunch of BS answers, and as soon as they got in, they start ramrodding the whole system, doing whatever they wanted, going after political opponents. So maybe that's what she's doing now, currently. I don't know. Just doing what Democrats have done in the past. Who knows? But I just think that she's not going to turn out to be the agent of change that we were all hoping for and definitely expected, especially when we had potential of Matt Gaetz actually getting that position. But like I said, talk to me. I need to hear y'all thoughts and your opinions on this. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe not. Peace and love. I'm out.